Hello. I'm a little upset at myself right now because I told myself last night that, I shouldn't record one before I go to bed. I have stuff to do early in the morning. And I told myself that at like 11, which was not that late. And now here I am. I was seconds away from going to bed when I realized, oh, if I put this off for another day, it will be it'll be 4 days again, and I don't want that. So here I am. I'm feeling a lot better about having to do this now that I am doing it, but feel like with almost everything there's this sense of dread with beginning any task, no matter how much I end up actually enjoying it. I don't know. I'm trying to remember what happened between this one and the last one. A lot happened today, but before that, what did I do yesterday? Oh, I don't remember. I went to school and we did the script readings. We went through my group's scripts and um, I wasn't very proud of them. I wish I had more time and energy to put into reading over and critiquing and adjusting uh, the rest of my group's scripts as well as my own, because some of their dialogue was painfully bad. And I felt like characters weren't very consistent throughout the whole thing. Either way, one of my group members, his writing style is very similar to mine. So his episode being directly before mine was quite good. But still, I wish I could have rewritten the whole thing. There are a few things in my episode I feel didn't land, but I've yet to get proper outside second opinions on them. Thinking of asking one of my classmates what they thought eventually, but for now I need to focus on getting through tomorrow. Today was a little bit of a special day. On my way home from school yesterday, I was texted by my oldest brother. He is 10 years older than I am, but a lot of my interests have landed in the same ballpark as his. We have similar tastes in music, which is not the case for my other siblings or my parents. Hold on, I've just received a message. Yeah, there goes my phone. Okay, I'm not really sure what they want because they haven't elaborated, but I hope my phone doesn't. I'll turn the ringer off because I'm sure nothing annoys me in the morning about, nothing annoys me more in the morning than hearing a phone buzzing. Something about it just upsets me. Either way, my oldest brother told me to hang out and grab lunch today. Yesterday he told me to do it today, because today was record store day, a store-wide sale at a local record shop. And yeah, we went in. I bought 5 records, of which, let me grab them. The record store doesn't stock very common things. It's a lot of very alt or underground or like classics, but only to the critics type things. Like you'd be hard pressed to find like Billie Eilish or just any name you hear on the radio. Either way, albums I got. Heaven or Las Vegas by the Cocteau Twins. Depression Cherry by Beach House. No, I don't know. Yeah. Dare by the Human League, which my brother had the store owner track down for me because one of their songs was playing in the store while we were looking through the records, and I said, wow, I really like this song, and he's like, then you'll like the album, and told the owner, who he's friends with, to track it down. Another one I got was another recommendation from my brother. The XX. The album cover is just like a white X on a black background. I haven't listened to this album yet, so I have no idea what it sounds like. But he recommended it, so it's probably fine. And the last one I picked up was High Violet by The National. I would have picked up more by The National, but 5 records already adds up to quite a bit, even with discounts. So I opted not to get any more records. I just banged my elbow. I think I've already spent too much this month on other things to indulge in more reckless spending, so now after that we went to a ramen shop that he recommended quite highly, I guess. He said it's the best one he's ever been to in inland cities in North America, which is a lot of high praise. I've only been to a handful inside of North America. I've been to a few in Japan, and they were all great. And there's one that's more coastal from where I live that was pretty on par with what I had in Japan, but everything like in my area is just sort of okay. And I am sad to say that though it was slightly better than average, it was still nowhere near that like Japan quality ramen. It was good, just not, it didn't blow me away. I think He has a habit of doing that, just overhyping things. Like, this is the greatest thing ever, this is my favourite thing of all time, but he'll say that about a dozen things. I think that might be a trait I also have. I'm just less aware of it. After lunch I had to rush home because I had work in the afternoon. Work. I'm quite happy with this week for work. Now, I think I've injured my hands, but tomorrow is my last day of work for the week because I've booked the next week and a half or 2 weeks off so I can focus on working on my school projects. I'm hoping that if I really lock in and pour everything I can into the project, I can make something that I'm happy enough to show not only to my class but share here. It will take a lot of work though, and a lot of rest. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'll get there. I know I said I avoid this kind of topic, but it's something that's been on my mind. You know how they say that guys will remember every compliment ever given to them? I don't think it's true for every guy, right? Like, if someone's always showered in compliments, then, like, you're gonna forget them, right? Just as the words, I love you, lose their meaning if you say them too much to your lover. But, at least for me, I can remember every single compliment I've gotten since I don't even know when, if I'm being honest. The earliest one I can think of was someone complimenting me on my drawing ability when I was a kid, which, probably to the dismay of many, has not improved that much. I'm pretty terrible at drawing. When I was in middle school, I was often complimented on the softness of my hair. And then in high school, I was complimented on anonymously, similarly about my hair. They said it looked soft, it wasn't somebody who had touched my head. I've been complimented on my eyes twice, and the compliment that sits atop the list that I've received the most, and this is sort of the reason I'm talking about this at all, is I want to pick apart your brain. Every time it's been said to me, it's been clarified as a compliment. But that phrase almost verbatim, has been said to me at least 5 times by 5 different people. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the way I choose or don't choose to present myself to others. That sort of, I guess, gives that intrigue. I like to think that my thought process on anything is very explainable and very traceable. Like, if I jump from one thing in a conversation to another thing, it's because I can sort of play hopscotch between memories and associations to get to that thing, and I can trace that back to explain how I got there. But from the outside, I guess it just looks like nonsense. I've seen other people talk about it as well, like that. That they think in associations. Apparently it's not the most common thing ever, but that's how I think. There was something else I was going to talk about, but it slipped my mind as of right now. Well, let's get back on track, so to speak. Wait, no, I already talked about that. I was about to go back to talking about how I just need to make it through tomorrow and then hit the ground running on Monday. But we've already done that, so where to go from here? I guess. I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. Ooh. I changed the tires of the wheels on my car the other day, and in doing so I split my lip. So I've got a nasty wound on my lip. It's not visible when my mouth is closed, but when I open it you can see the dark red bit. It's quite silly. We keep the wheels on a rack on the wall in bags, so the elements don't get to them if the elements happen to get into the garage. But upon taking the third wheel down, it slipped out of my hands and then bounced off the ladder directly into my jaw, causing me to bite my own lip pretty badly. It was a silly thing. I'm just happy that my face didn't swell up from getting socked in the jaw like that. It happens though. People get silly injuries all of the time, right? Anytime you see someone with a serious wound or injury, there is a chance that the story behind it is more funny than painful. And maybe that's a nice thing to think about, I don't know. But here's not a nice thing to think about. I've just remembered what I was going to talk about earlier, before I forgot. And that is Pavloving yourself, sort of. I think I'm a very Pavlovable person. For those who don't know what Pavloving is, and I don't know how you wouldn't know, but if you don't know, it refers to an experiment done by a scientist named Pavlov. He was a psychologist, I think, and he experimented with a dog. Every time he would feed the dog, he would ring a bell. And he did this a number of times until eventually the dog would begin to salivate as if there was food in front of it. If he just rung the bell, no food. He conditioned the dog into associating the bell with food. And it works on people too, though people have the conscious ability to break it, I guess. I've personally been Pavloved into a number of things. A lot of my bad habits are probably Pavlovian in some way. Like, watching YouTube actually helped me to fall asleep a number of times, so now I can't fall asleep without it. Right? Because I now associate YouTube with sleep. Or I've fallen asleep at my desk enough times that I now associate my desk with sleep. That kind of thing. But the one that is sort of biting me the most right now is the sound of a Steam message. Because last year, someone I cared about a lot would most commonly get my attention through Steam. Of all things, they were weird like that. I had them on Discord, I had them elsewhere, but Steam was their favorite one to use, I guess. So, after knowing them for 2 years-ish, I began to associate the notification noise from that with them, and now that they're long gone, separated from me, I still jump a bit whenever I hear the noise, expecting it to be them. I get a similar sort of thing when I look at my phone, and there's a little icon on my home screen showing what my notifications are without telling me what they are. Like, there's a notification for the Messages app, for Discord, for Steam, such and such, for Twitter. And usually if it's a text, it's from my mum. So I will automatically treat it like it's my mum's without even looking at it, until proven otherwise, and when proven otherwise, it's shocking. I have notifications for servers off, pretty across the board on Discord, so I always assume that if I have a Discord notification, it will be someone trying to get my attention, and I'm always kind of disappointed when it's not. I'm a creature of terrible habit, mentally and physically. There's This is an odd topic as well, maybe a solemn one. But I don't know when to cry. That's a funny thing, right? Like, you cry when you're sad, duh. But how sad is the right sad for crying? And what situation is it okay to cry in? If you cry in public, it'll cause a scene. If you cry around your friends, it might make them uncomfortable or shatter what image they have of you. If you cry to yourself, then who are you crying for? And does it even matter if you cry or not? And even if you do cry in any of those situations, and you feel better a week later, you're just going to feel stupid for crying. So why cry? I think there's only been a handful of times in my conscious life where I've cried unwillingly. Once was in a fight with my mum. Not a physical fight. She'd never hit me. But it was a verbal argument when I was a kid. I say a kid, I was in late middle school. Somewhere around there. I forget. There was one time after I'd gotten in a fight with a teacher, and I was explaining it to the vice principal of the school, and I couldn't help but cry then. But every other time I can remember I've had to force myself to cry. Maybe force isn't the right word, but I've had to let myself cry. Is that normal? Like, the last time I cried, which funnily enough was the hardest I ever cried, I felt like I had to hold the door open, so to speak, to let myself cry. As if I hadn't, I would have just been normal enough but sad. And the one before that, which was like a year before that, was a similar sort of situation where I feel like I had to force and let myself to cry. It's a dumb thing to talk about because it makes me sound like I'm begging for attention in some kind of way, or that I'm trying to present myself as cold-hearted or stoic or something like that, which I'm not really, I don't think. It's just the way I've always been about crying, I guess. Everyone I know has seen me sad, but none of my friends have ever seen me cry beyond getting teary-eyed from laughing, which they've seen more times than any of us could count. Sometimes I do watch like sad shows or anime just to give myself an excuse to cry, right? Like maybe my life is sad at the time and I feel like I could cry about it, but it's not enough to cry about, or like others have it harder, so it would be silly to cry. That's another thing, right? Like my life's not that hard. I hate my job, well, one of them, and I hate the schedule I have to keep, and that makes me terribly sad. I hate the people that have left me. I hate that there's people who've left my life that I wanted to keep around forever. And I hate the financial strains that plague my family. But so many others have it worse, right? So it feels silly to cry if I don't see them crying, then what right do I have to cry about things? So I often watch like sad anime just to give myself an excuse. Like, this is a tangent. There's a song that I'm now thinking about called Let It All Out, by Coin, which I've mentioned before. If I knew how to play piano, I'd play that song, though half of it is guitar. Either way. One of my favourite anime ever, which happens to be the anime that has made me cry more than anything ever, was Violet Evergarden. I watched it when I was in high school, which funnily enough was a time of my life where I really didn't have anything to be sad about. And at the end of every episode, the sort of, I want to say punchline, but it's not a joke. The climax of every story, with each person's life changing or showing the future of how they were affected. The one that got me really bad was the mother who was sick and had all the letters written for either her son or her daughter. I can't quite remember. It's been a while since I watched. But she had all the letters written for her kid, going for every single one of their birthdays going into the future, because she knew she wasn't going to make it, but she wanted to be there. Just thinking about it makes me sort of tear up. I so desperately want to make my mom watch that, but she doesn't like anime. So I don't know if I could get her to watch it. It would take a lot of convincing to get her to look past the art style and the fact that it's not in English. Yeah. Still, I cried a lot over that. I don't remember where I was going with that. But I've made myself sad. And happy, but mostly sad. Now, as promised, there is a guitar bit at the end of this. Which ones I play will be entirely up to me. There is one song I want to do that is not a requested one. Sorry. But it's one of the first ones I really learned how to play and sing at the same time, sort of. So, yeah, I'm gonna play that one. I might play another, but that is to be decided by me in the future, like 20 minutes from now. Anyway, the first song that I'm going to play is called Hot Knifer by Peach Pit. When I learned it, I wasn't aware of what a hot knifer was. I've never done it. I don't think you should, but the song is lovely. I highly recommend listening to it and the album it's from. It holds a very special place in my heart. Yeah. Oh man, I already don't have much left in here. Lone Graham laying by the phone marks my thought to veer. Glow ray blossoming to flame. Further in the night, you've been gone way too long. I don't mind. Ash and smoky trails are leading into sight. Hot knives, golden lines are fading where your eyes. I've been blowing nose as you don't know my name, and I'll keep burning this way. Pumpkin flowing pink perfume, dripping sugar sky. Oh damn, she's already done, and I'm still asking why. Time's been floating by in droves, hiding dark inside. You've been gone way too long. I don't mind. Ash and smoky trails are leading into sight. Hot knives, golden lines are fading where your eyes. I've been blowing nose as you don't know my name, and I'll keep burning this way. Okay, so for the sake of getting to bed sooner, as it is already quite late, and for an excuse to make another video with instrumental, maybe with happier tones, preceding it. I'm going to cut this one at one song. I know. Those who were, for some reason, hoping for more, I know you'll be disappointed, but I assure you the next video will also have a guitar bit. You won't have to wait 2 videos. And I think I'll put that one out in 2 days' time. Either Monday or Tuesday, depending on where you are. So keep a lookout for that, I guess. And that clicking noise that was present in the video I had to re-record, sort of, is still there, and I can't get it to go away. When I have more time, I will really look into it and figure out what's going on. But for now, I just hope it's not too noticeable. Maybe I should do a bit of noise suppression. I'm not sure. If it's bothering anybody, I can start adding a little bit of post-production noise suppression to the video, and that should eliminate it, mostly. But if it's fine and it's not bothering anyone at all, then I will leave it in. I said this one was going to be short, and we're at 42 minutes. Okay. If you made it this far, thank you. And sorry for this one being a little down. If you're falling asleep, have a good night. If you're waking up, have a good day. As for me, I'll be heading to bed after this is uploaded. Yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.